Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'd like to take a closer look at the flaws in the China study. And there are two main flaws I want to look at, but before I do, I want to explain why I just did 3 videos going after John McDougall. And now why am I going after T. Colin Campbell? A lot of vegetarians are having a hard time with me now, and I understand that. Well, I'm trying to rattle your cage. I did a video for you guys recently on a special call to vegetarians, helping them understand that they can get better results if they know what to do better. And I've said this 1,000 times, if not 1,000,000 times. You can attack me all you want, but if you're going to attack the only solution to solve our problems, which is a raw vegan diet, and no one's going to do that, so the juice fast is how we're going to have to do it, because that's the only thing that can get everyone's attention. You attack that, I'm going to go after you again. I'll even go after you if you go after water fasting, because I know it works and it gets better results than what everyone else is doing, even though it's not safe for some people. So that's why I went after John McDougall. He clearly comes out and says raw vegans are sickly vegetarians. And what that does is it puts confusion in this area. It takes all these people that are eating plants and tell them, don't go raw, that's not what we're supposed to do. That's not right. He says that's sugar. You gotta go to starch, not sugar, starch. Well, there's a play on words and shows how disingenuous this man is. It isn't starch and sugar, it's grains and fruits. Are you a granivore or are you a frugivore? Can't you look at your anatomy and figure that one out? And it isn't sugar and starch, it's simple sugar, complex sugar. Body doesn't want complex, it wants simple. Simple. Doesn't want protein, it wants simple. It wants amino acids. So that's why I go after anybody who's going to go after the only solution that can wake us up. And that I know bothers a lot of people in the vegetarian community, especially a small group, and it may be larger than I want to admit, that are doing it for the animals. And I know a lot of people are going to do that no matter what, but a lot of that's what they're mainly doing it for, is the animals. And then you're so short-sighted that you care more about the animals than you do people. And I see it all the time with certain people. They're so stupid when it comes to talking to people and not realizing that they think they need to eat the protein, and until you help them overcome that, they're not going to think you make any sense. And the point I'm trying to get here, and I've made it before, is if you really care about the animals, you need to care about us first, because the ultimate solution is to get our act in order. If we don't get our act in order, we'll never have a solution for the animal cruelty on this planet. And you think, John, but why are you going after these guys that are helping me on my mission not to kill the animals? Well, I'm on a mission not to have us be extinct. Us. I'm tired of watching us suffer. And the starch solution doesn't get rid of those problems. Reminds me of an interview Gabriel Cousens had with Campbell back in 2007. And Cousens was talking about the great results they were getting with diabetes. And then Campbell goes, oh, well, Neil Barnard did this NIH study, and then Cousens interjected, yeah, our results are a little faster. Neil Barnard's seeing a 30% improvement in 22 weeks. We see 100% improvement in 2 weeks. And Gabriel, my friend, if you drink twice as much as juice, you see results like I do on day 1, and usually never after the first week, off medication for type 2. Oh, 22 weeks, 30% improvement. You guys are delusional. You don't understand the disease process. You're cooking your food, it's a mistake, and you're in denial. So we have cooked food apologists like John McDougall. Now we've got another cooked food apologist like T. Colin Campbell. And that's one of the flaws he has in the China study. Now, why am I attacking this? John, don't attack this. We need this to help people not eat animals. If you don't want people to eat animals, get them to be raw vegan. It'll change their mentality. Get them to do a juice fast so we can reach the tipping point. The whole planet will transform and we won't have this mess. We're always going to have this mess if you keep getting distracted. If you're not getting reconnected, you're getting distracted. Campbell, distraction. McDougall, distraction. Cooked food, distraction. We're making 5 mistakes. The first one's cooked. Correct all the other ones. Ignore the first one. You're delusional. Paleo, delusional. Cooked vegans, delusional. Quit cooking your food if you want to solve the problems. People like me who see the results we do so fast with all these different conditions know what you guys don't know. And you got to stop protecting what you know. Now, Campbell didn't recognize raw milk versus cooked milk, pasteurized milk. Well, of course we're going to see problems when you damage the milk. Oh, we don't want to look at raw. No, no, no. And then the other flaw that Campbell makes that I wish he would correct, because we want to have good information to present to people and people know this and they go, I can't use this study. It doesn't tell me anything. Because Campbell doesn't recognize species-specific diet. He doesn't recognize raw food. He doesn't recognize species-specific diet. In other words, there's no difference, according to Campbell, between a grass-fed cow and a grain-fed cow. Again, they're grainivores, grainivores, grainivores. Nothing wrong with grains, right? No, we're not starchers. We're fruiters. It isn't complex. It's simple. Oh, gosh. Everybody puts so much energy into these projects, and man, they protect them the best way they can. What would Campbell do if he came out? Yeah, I made a couple mistakes. I really need to do this again. Can I get some more money? And let's compare it to raw milk. Oh my God. No wonder some paleo people do better than some vegetarians. Why? Because they're not eating pasteurized milk. They're doing raw milk. And they're not doing grain-fed beef. They're doing grass-fed beef. Even Gabriel Cousens has come out recently and said, we used to say if you're going to eat an animal, eat the fish. They swim through the body better, right? But he doesn't recommend that anymore because of Fukushima. Not to mention, fish contain 9 million times the concentration of toxins as the water they swim in. So if you're getting factory farm fish, oh my God, they're feeding fish meal to these fish that have even more toxins in them. But what Cousens recommends now is not to go to fish anymore, but grass-fed beef. Because when you don't feed an animal the food it's meant to eat, it gets sick. It changes their whole structure. That's what the cooked food's doing to us, you fools. That's what the starches are doing to us, you fools. It does it to cows, it does it to humans. If you're not meant to eat grains, it's going to cause problems. Look what it does to the cows. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows. It changes their whole fat structure. That's why they're loaded with omega-6s. That's why we see the heart disease. You can't compare a cooked food, plant-based diet to a bunch of people eating grain-fed beef. It isn't fair to people who eat meat. What if it's grass-fed? Let's do another study. Great, let's do it. And you're always going to probably see better results overall on one side, but you're also going to see it not working for everybody because we're unique in how our ancestors got us here. Some of us are lactose intolerant, can't handle dairy. Some of us are gluten intolerant, can't handle a lot of the grains. So that's why we see better results. And I explained this in my video on paleo versus vegan, and you can go down below and watch that video if you want to know more. In fact, this should be my 80th video in the last 80 days. I'm learning as I'm doing this, so please bear with me on this. If you can't tell, I'm passionate about this. I realize most people don't understand where I'm coming from. I'm misperceived and judged in many ways all the time, and it's been happening so long. I understand it's part of my journey, thankfully, and I've learned to endure continuously without resentment. And I can say that jokingly because it's been a challenge at times when people misperceive you and they think you're doing something and you're not being nice, because now people are going to, you're attacking this guy who's doing good things because he's helping the animals. Quit focusing on the animals. It's the humans. Quit cooking your food. Become the best that you can be. How do you do that? It's overwhelming for most people. So what's the best solution? It's the first of my 3-step process. It's put in there because it addresses the willingness issue. We do something on a temporary basis. We see results 10 times faster. That's why Cousens is seeing results so fast. So I get better results because I drink more juice. You got to give your body everything it needs. And you can't get everything you need on a half a gallon of juice. Gabriel, double that amount at least, my friend. Try it, just experiment and see what happens. There you go. There's an experiment for you to do. Won't hurt you to just experiment, except might take a little more work on your part and money. Oh my God. Oh, I have to double my food budget. That's not his motive, I'm sure. He actually believes that autolysis kicks in by drinking less juice. And even Herbert Shelton said if you even drink lemon water on a water fast, you kick out autolysis. Now, is that accurate? I don't know. But my God, this man had a lot of experience, 50,000 water fasts. That's why I'm a big fan of water fasting. And if you attack water fasting, I'm going to stand up for it and help people understand that we have to first cleanse ourselves of heavy metals and environmental toxins before we embark on a program like that, because things have changed. We don't live in an ideal world anymore. An ideal diet doesn't satisfy all of our needs anymore. And the only argument people can get, because we see the obvious results when you go raw. We see it. But the only argument anybody can come up with, well, it just doesn't work long term. Show me the centenarians. Well, we represent such a small percentage of the population. You're not going to see a very high percentage of centenarians that are our age. There's just not enough of us out there doing it. When a larger percentage, if everybody was doing it, we'd see everybody over 100. Everyone would be over 100. The Essenes live to be 120. We're supposed to live, if we're like other animals, every animal lives 6 times their maturity age. That puts us around 120, 150. We're not coming close to that. We're dying in middle-aged. Used to, now it's even younger. People are dying of diseases. Why? Because the food keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So it's obvious you are what you eat. And the worse the food is getting, the worse we're getting. And the more mistakes we correct, the better we're gonna be. And when you correct all 5 mistakes by doing it the way I'm talking about it, again, it's 10 times faster. You avoid the problems that most people have when they go raw, because you're dealing with cleansing reactions. You're intentionally supporting your organs of elimination. I don't recommend doing that when you're eating a raw food diet. You don't want to use herbs unless there's a reason, and you need to. But on a juice fast, there is a reason to use the herbs. And there are other organs we can support with the other herbs. I'm not saying that all herbs are not acceptable while you're also doing raw food, but I'm talking about ones that help support the elimination organs, especially the colon is the one I'm referring to. Because I've said this before, just about everything we do is a potential slippery slope, because they can become habit forming. But the point here is that if you use a more aggressive approach, like my first step that addresses the willingness issue, we're only doing it on a temporary basis, you see results 10 times faster, you're not as prone to cleansing reactions because we're really supporting the organs of elimination. And the best thing of all is we address an issue that's really huge in this community, and that's the breakdown of tissue and the rebuilding of tissue, the cannibalism and animalism. When you're eating raw foods, you can only eat so much, so when most people embark on this program, they could be a man 6 foot tall and weigh 150 pounds, and all of a sudden in a couple months they're way down to 115. And the same diet they lost all that weight on, they'll gain it right back. And the key here is when you go on a cleansing diet, the body heals itself and breaks down tissues. But it does so at a faster rate than it can rebuild it. But not so when you do a juice feast where you're consuming 15, 20 pounds of produce. You can't consume that much. So you're also addressing the issue of cannibalism. In fact, you can actually build muscle while you're on a juice fast, and I'm a good example of that. I did that a while back when I switched from lifting weights. You saw my routine I posted on my birthday. I spend 4 or 5 minutes doing bench presses and lat pulls just to maintain what I got. That's all I do 3 times a week. 12 to 15 minutes a week is all I spend on it. But several years back, I switched up my routine, and I doubled the amount of time I spent, maybe even tripled it. Got to 10 minutes or 12 minutes perhaps each workout. And what I did is, instead of doing 30 reps altogether, I would sit there and do like 100 push-ups. And once the muscle gets tired, I made it keep working. So I put a whole inch on my chest while I was doing the juice fast, just by doubling or maybe tripling the amount of time, going from 4 or 5 minutes to maybe 10 or 12 minutes of exercise. 3 times a week is all I did. So that's what's so exciting about the modifying a water fast. You can't really do that on a water fast. Although I have to confess, I never forget this video I got from T.C. Fry when we went up to go see him. I got the book, the Great AIDS Hoax, from him at that time, and got a video of his fasting retreat up there around Lake Travis. And it was really exciting because it was full of testimonies of people on this fast, and they're like in the 3rd week of it, the 2nd week of it, or they're going through the beginning, and you see them go through the process of it, and you just see the transformation. It's really heartwarming to see how healthy these people get and how they couldn't even walk when they came in, and on day 21 they're skipping. It's amazing. They throw the cane away and they're skipping. One guy was in his mid-50s. He says, you know, I've been doing push-ups every morning ever since I can remember. And this morning I'm on day 21 of a water fast, and I did more push-ups this morning than I've ever done in my life. It just goes to show you what happens when your body gets clean. You can't get that clean eating cooked food. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. People say, oh, you can clean the system with cooked starches. No, you can't, not with cooked starches. And when you go to supplements, if we can't get everything we need from our ideal diet, because we don't live in an ideal world anymore, there are plenty of supplements we can take, and then the only argument some people will come up with, well, those aren't natural either, and if I'm going to choose between the supplements are animals, I'm going to go with the animals. It makes more sense. We were hunters and gatherers, right? It's part of our heritage, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? But you have to understand we have two groups of needs, and they're both based on anatomical limitations. The first group are the ones we were given at birth. The second one happens to the damage that we've done to ourselves in the environment and society. So that's where the supplements come into play, because we might not get everything we need because our body's damaged. We might not be getting B12 or DHA or taurine or vitamin D because we're living in the wrong locale. Get out of there and get where the sun is at. You won't have that problem. Otherwise, take supplements. Oh, no, I can go to animal products. But no, you don't understand. When we choose the animal products to go for our second group of needs, we're violating the first group of needs. Don't you see? We still have to respect that we have a species-specific diet. You're making the same mistake Campbell's making. Saying, oh, it doesn't make any difference, grains, grass. No, every animal has a species-specific diet. We are not meant to eat animals. If we ate animals and now we're dependent on eating animals, we don't have to keep eating them to get what we need, because we're not impervious to the ill effects from eating them, don't you see? We're still damaging the body. We're compounding the problem. You got to go to the supplements, man. This is a no-brainer. The only time you don't is if the circumstances are different, and I understand circumstances. I know you can add a raw egg to your juices or a smoothie and get 3 or 4 nutrients like cholesterol and B12 and DHA and taurine for dollars a week that could cost you hundreds of dollars in supplements if you needed them. And I don't believe in using eggs, and if you do, of course, you know how to get them that aren't fertile, or however you say that. Not fertilized, how do you say that? Fertilized egg? Of course, you find someone that you know raises them ideally, and they're ethically treated and everything. Otherwise, you're contributing to that problem, and I understand you don't want to go there. But who are you going to put first? The animal or the person? If you put the person first, then the animals will be a positive consequence. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be the guardians on the planet. We're failing miserably. And eating animals contributes to it, but it's the cooking of the foods that caused it. You got to go back to the first cause. It's a distraction otherwise. We couldn't be eating animals, or we wouldn't be. We couldn't be eating grains, and we wouldn't be processing our foods, and we wouldn't be adding chemicals and growing our food on chemicals if we hadn't made the first mistake. You got to go back to the first cause. And you got to stop being in denial. You got to stop defending people who attack the truth. Oh my God, but he's helping the animals. Stop focusing on downstream solutions. Go upstream. Now, should we never work downstream? Of course not. I always say there's two groups of needs. The first group is upstream, the second group is downstream. There's been damage done to us and society. We're screwed up. And I'm tired of it. That's why I'm passionate. That's why I get angry when people attack the only solution, the only solution, the only solution. It ain't no starch solution. It ain't no complex sugar solution. It's a raw solution. And you can't convince me otherwise, because it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. Get a fire going and stick your hand in it and tell me what it does to your hand. You think that improves your hand in any way? How can we be in such denial to think it's okay to ruin our food by putting it in fire? Oh, but we won't eat the animals. Wake up! Go upstream. Work downstream, save the animals. Go upstream, save the humans. If you don't save the humans, you're fighting an endless battle that you'll never win. You want to win that battle, don't you? I know you do. I do too. I don't want any animals to suffer, and they don't need to if we got our act together. It starts with you. And it's not protecting the animals, it's you. Do the first of my 3-step process, and within a week, you'll have a light bulb moment. Within several months, you'll have an aha moment. And then you'll have a brand new reference, and then you'll realize why I attack anybody who attacks raw food. We are not sickly. It's you guys that are eating cooked food that are sickly. You're disconnected, and you're in denial, and you're protecting your information. Campbell's whole career is based on the China study. I can't admit that's wrong. Can't admit that I made 2 major flaws, that I didn't look at raw milk and I didn't consider the grass-fed beef angle. But it ruins all your research. Wake up to that and admit it and go on and modify it. Say, wow, I had good results and And now I'm looking into raw, and wow, that's the way to go. But it takes some fine tuning, because we don't live in an ideal world anymore. We have to realize how we're damaged, and what are your choices? My God, do I take this little bitty vitamin B12 pill? It's unnatural. Or do I kill an animal, which is unnatural? It goes against our natural instincts of killing. If you still get a thrill out of killing, you got to raise those biophotons up, my friend. They're too low. We're all one. We should not take the life of an animal to eat it when we're not meant to eat it, and it hurts them, it hurts us. So if you love the animals, love yourself first, and when you do, you're in for a treat.